Office of the State Attorney.
Good morning. Pedro Matos with the Public Defender.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is the Spanish interpreter.
Good morning. Have you been sworn in?
No, I have not, Your Honor.
Okay, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, Laura Arroyo, State Certified Interpreter.
All right, and you're going into the BRC1.
Yes, I'm dialing right now.
Okay, perfect.
Senor,
Sí.
the connection is established.
Okay, sir, please tell me your name.
Alessandro Berrio.
Alessandro Barrio.
All right, sir, you're here in case number 2020 CF 10834. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated assault with a firearm. And I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. You're not to have any contact with the victim or any witnesses. No weapons or firearms or ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, and you're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred, so you're not to go to that victim's apartment. If you have any weapons or any firearms, you're to surrender them within 6 hours of any release from the Orange County Jail. Your bond is set at $7,500. You're out on release.
Sorry, Your Honor. Could you repeat that figure?
Sure, $7,500. You're out on release in 2020 CF 4384. I am revoking that release, setting the bond at none. You do have an attorney in that matter. Not taking any action on the notice to appear on the petty theft. Thank you, sir.
Dustin Dela Cruz Fernandez, medical, Your Honor.
Okay, so the PD was previously appointed in 2020 MM 5797AO. He's medical. It's a domestic violence case. We would not resolve it today anyway. Mr. Matos, did you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Division 50 pretrial conference will be October 5th, 2:30 p.m., courtroom 7C.
All right.
Your Honor, is the interpreter still needed?
Yes. No,
Could I
you
just
were-
ask the
Is that the last one?
That's the only one.
Okay. And then could you make an announcement in the gallery? I don't know if we need anyone who needs the interpreter. If you could
Of
have
course.
them raise their hand.
Si hay alguien en el público que requiere un intérprete en español, por favor, levante la mano.
Nope. Okay. Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
You're welcome. The interpreter will disconnect.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day. And then, Anna's on the phone.
It's 13. He's here. That's him. I don't have. No, it's right here. I'm sorry.
You're welcome.
Good morning. Is this the Haitian Creole interpreter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good morning. Can you state your name and your ID number?
Benjamin
ID 247762.
Okay, and have you been sworn in today?
No, ma'am.
All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to translate from English to Haitian Creole, from Haitian Creole to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then if you could just introduce yourself to the gentleman that I have, is this Mr. Borgella or Borgea? I don't know. If you could ask him his name, and I want to make sure that he understands you.
Allô, bonjour. Allô, bonjour.
Bonjour,
Moi, je suis interprète pour créole haïtien. C'est comme on relais.
moi je suis Jean-Renel Borgela.
Jean-Renel.
Borgela,
Moi, pour l'interpréter pour un créole. Un moment.
ok.
The gentleman stated to the interpreter that my name is Jean-Renel Borgela.
All right, Mr. Borgella, you're here in 2020 CF 10662.
Monsieur Borgela, au dire ça qu'on l'a dans l'an, c'est 2020, CF 10662.
You were arrested pursuant to a warrant in which probable cause was found for aggravated battery on a pregnant person.
Yo te arrêté parce que yo te voyé un mandat arrêt pour probablement pour cause de ou te battre yon moun ou aggraver cause là avec yon moun qui te enceinte.
I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you.
Moi pral appointer office défendeur public là pour représenter ou.
We do have a witness present, and Ms. Bush, do you know, does she need the
She does
interpreter?
need the interpreter, Your Honor, and they can't hear the court in the gallery.
Okay, well, I don't know what else I can
I'm
do,
not sure.
yeah, so.
And I'm not certain whether or not she is hearing or not.
If you could ask the witness if she is able to hear us.
Nous gen yon témoin qui avec nous. Interprète, mandez témoin s'il qu'attendez nous. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Témoin, hein? Est-ce qu'on qu'attendez interprète là?
Oh oui, m'attendez kounya.
Oh yes, I could hear now.
Okay, can you raise your right hand to be sworn in, please, ma'am?
Ok, tant pis madame. Est-ce qu'on ka lever mes droites ou en l'air pour capable prêter serment?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Est-ce qu'on sermente pour dire la vérité, toute la vérité, et rien que la vérité?
Oui.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me your name, please, and spell your last name for me.
Ok, dis-moi non tant pris. Et puis, moi vle pour épeler signature.
Lanesia Cyrilien, Lanecia, Cyrilien, Sylien.
Lanesia Cyrilien. Lanesia. L as in Larry, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, E as in Edward, C as in cat, I as in ice cream, A as in apple, Cyrilien, S as in Sam, Y as in yellow, R as in Robert, I as in ice cream, L as in Linda, I as in ice cream, E as in Edward, N as in Nancy.
Thank you. And Ms. Bush, did you wish for me to inquire, or did you wish to do so?
If the court would inquire the statement.
Ma'am, how do you know Mr. Borgella?
Madame, comment qu'on connaît Monsieur Borgela?
Moi, connais lui depuis 15 septembre 2019.
I met him since September 15, 2019.
Are you in a relationship with him currently?
Est-ce que ou non relation avec les kounye?
Oui, moi relation avec elle, enceinte pour lui.
Yes, I'm in a relationship with him. I'm pregnant for him.
Do you live together?
Not vivre ensemble.
E nou tap viv ansam, depi le diskisyon, tout moun gaye koyo, wak kounya la mwete pou kon, mi seret pou kol.
We used to live together until the argument, everybody went their separate ways. I live alone, he lives alone.
Is that his child as well, or you're just pregnant with his child?
Ça, c'est petit li tout, ou bien juste enceinte avec petit li?
Non, sa mwen ansent la ki pou li.
No, the one I'm pregnant with is his.
Are you afraid of him?
Est-ce qu'on peut?
M'oblige, parce m'oblige, m'pe.
I have to, because I have to. I'm scared.
I didn't understand. I asked if you were afraid of him.
Mwen pas comprendre. Mwen mande ou, est-ce qu'on peut, monsieur?
Non, m'papel.
No, I'm not afraid of him.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Est-ce que ou vle gen contact avec li?
Ah, mais bon, mwen ansent pou li, e i suppose pou an responsabilité l. E s'il vle ka gen kontak, men pa force l.
Well, I'm pregnant for him. He's supposed to take on his responsibility. If he wants to have contact, I'm not going to force him.
Okay. I believe that there is an injunction that is currently in place that you are not allowed to have contact with him. Is that correct?
Mwen kwa ke kounye a genye yon blokaj ki en plas, ke ou mem ou pa suppose gen kontak avek li paske gen yon od ki gen restriksyon pou nou pa gen kontak le avek lot. Se pa vre?
Ba konnen, parce i suppose pou an responsabilité petit li, i suppose gen kontak a petit li.
I don't know, because he's supposed to take responsibility for his child.
Okay.
He's supposed to have contact with his child.
Okay. Right now, there is an injunction that is in place. It was awarded that he is the petitioner, you are the respondent, and it was awarded on September 4th, 2020.
Ok, kounye an genye sa yo rele yon od de restriksyon kote ke li menm se li ki fe petisyon ou menm se ou kap repon. Et od sa te pase le 4 septembre 2020.
There is a final hearing on September 15th, 2020.
Gen yon audience final ki gen pou fet le 15 septembre 2020.
So I cannot override that injunction.
Moi-même, moi pas gen pouvoir pour me retirer l'autre ça que au passé côté que nous tous les deux pas qu'à prendre contact avec l'autre.
So I am going to continue to order no contact. He will not be able to have contact with you, nor will you be able to have contact with him based on the injunction.
Ça veut dire, basé sur l'ordre qui t'est passé le 4 septembre 2020, moi-même, moi pas qu'à retirer, ça veut dire, m'a continuer l'ordre ça. Ça veut dire, lui-même, il pas qu'à prendre contact avec ou même, ou pas qu'à prendre contact avec lui.
You're continuing to maintain a separate residence?
Est-ce qu'on continue à rester, on côté séparé l'un avec l'autre?
Oui, wote mi am bon.
You're not to possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition?
Yes, where I am, I'm good. Ou même, ou pas supposé gagner aucun zam. Ou pas supposé gagner aucun ammunition non plus.
And you do qualify for pretrial release, Mr. Borgella, so I'm going to place you in pretrial release.
Monsieur Borgella, ou qualifié pour nous relâcher avant jugement. Ça veut dire que nous placer en bas ça y les pre-trial release. Côté que nous ka relâcher avant même qu'on ait le jugement.
All right. Anything further?
Pas rien de plus.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, for your testimony.
Madame, merci pour témoignage.
Ok.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Merci, monsieur. Bonne chance.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter.
Brown?
You're welcome, Your Honor. Is there anything else the interpreter may assist you with?
No, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you for using our services. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Have a great day.
Good morning. Tell me your name, please.
Good morning. Timothy Brown.
Oh, Mr. Brown, I reset this from yesterday. I did speak with Judge Morgan in 2020 MM 2021. And I have read the affidavit for arrest warrant. So you're here on the out-of-county warrant out of Osceola County and that case number. And so I am going to order that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a no contact order that he could sign? Okay. Yes.
Can I speak?
I don't want you to talk about the facts of the case. I'll appoint the public defender. So, Mr. Matos, if he has a question, I'd prefer him to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He's just asking if he can resolve because the victim is here. I told him.
First of all, the information has not been filed, okay? And the victim has not been notified and the victim is not present. And so either way, without an information,
Okay.
the case would not be resolved, okay? So no, we can't resolve your case today. You're gonna have to go to Osceola and handle the case, okay?
And how long that's gonna take?
Sorry?
How long that's gonna take?
I can't hear him.
If you want. He says asking how long is that?
I have no idea. I'm gonna give you a bond and then you'll get
Okay.
it. Okay, so hold on, we'll get there. So I'm gonna have you sign the no contact order. Make sure that you read it and you understand it, okay? All right, you're also to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Did you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your bond is set at $1,500. And so I've appointed the public defender here. If for some reason you're not able to make that bond, they'll be able to file a motion to modify the bond for you.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, good luck, sir.
Mr.
Roman Gardner, behavior ground.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna find the behavior to be a waiver and appoint the public defender. And 2020 MO 895AO. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive his appearance? He also has 2020 CF 8702AO.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I've appointed the public defender on both of those matters. The first case is being in a park after it's closed to the public and state misdemeanors. There's probable cause. And he is not to return back to the Monte Carlo Trail, Barker Park, or 2000 Monte Carlo Trail, Barker Park.
This is Mr. Hooper.
And the bonds will stay at $250 and $100. He's also got 2020 CF 8702AO. It's a robbery, sudden snatching, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, grand theft, third degree, and battery, and that was pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was previously found. So he's not to have any contact with any victim or witness, no weapons, firearms, or ammunition, no return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. The bonds will stay at $2,500, $150, $150, and $100.
Mr. Hooper.
Good morning, sir. Tell me your name.
I'm sorry. Michael Hopper.
Mr. Hopper, you're here in 2020 MM 651280. You're arrested for domestic violence battery. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. And I think we have a witness coming up.
We do.
Good morning. Can you raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and you're gonna have, I know you're a little tall, so you can speak directly into the microphone a little louder so that I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you state your name for me and spell your last name, please?
Cheryl Coons, Kuhns.
All right, Ms. Coons. And Ms. Bush, did you wish to inquire?
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Good morning, Ms. Kuhn. What is your relationship with Mr. Hopper?
That's my boyfriend.
Do you all live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you afraid of him?
Not at all.
Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Do you believe that alcohol or any kind of controlled substance contributed to his behavior?
No.
How long have you been in a relationship with him?
5 years.
And over the course of the 5 years, have there ever been any incidents of violence in which you were the victim, whether it was reported or not?
No, ma'am.
And would you feel safe if he were allowed to return to the home?
Yes, ma'am.
If something like this were to occur again, would you be comfortable calling law enforcement if you felt threatened?
Yes.
I have no further questions. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Matos?
There's no questions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Coons. You know, obviously, he got the bad end of what happened here, but I'm not comfortable allowing contact today based on what's occurred. So I'm gonna order no contact. That can be changed in writing by a judge, but I think maybe you need a little bit of time out for a little bit here. So I'm gonna have you sign the no contact order, Mr. Hopper, and so that's no contact directly or indirectly. Your attorneys can file a motion to have that modified. So you're gonna have to maintain a separate residence. I'll let you go back with law enforcement one time to get your things if you need to do so. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. I don't see why he would not qualify for pretrial release.
I think they didn't qualify him as of on the paper because his fingerprints, his identity hasn't been positively identified as of yet.
Okay.
But he can qualify, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
Sorry?
Excuse me?
Yes, I'm sorry. It's hard to know who's talking to me because everyone's got a mask on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Whoops, sorry about
Yes,
that.
Ms.
This is his father's home, so I'd rather it be me that leave.
Okay, you can leave, and I'm only ordering maintain a separate residence, okay?
Okay,
And so I'm not kicking him out of a home or anything like
Okay.
that. So if you want to leave, then he can be there, and that's fine.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
So I don't. What I'll do is a $500 bond or pretrial release because they haven't qualified you yet. I don't believe you were interviewed, and maybe there's a fingerprint issue. So it'll be a $500 bond or pretrial release, okay? So if they come to ask you some questions, then answer them if you don't want to pay the bond, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Coons? Good luck. Okay, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
James Cutler.
All right, do we know what happened to Alicia Brand?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
That's a misdemeanor VOP.
I have an on-view VOP, and then I also have paperwork for a felony or a battery domestic violence. I don't know, it was in the, it was just the next on my list.
They didn't put her on our second session.
It's but I have a battery, DV battery. Do you have the paperwork? Yeah, we all have the,
They only put her under our misdemeanor traffic
Yeah.
VOP.
okay. All right, she has a DV
I can have her
battery.
brought up.
We don't, it's fine. Do we have, we don't have any victim present for
No,
Ms.
Your
Brandt? Okay, so we can handle it whenever, that's fine. I just didn't want anybody to be waiting. Okay, I'll put that aside. All right, tell me your name again, I'm sorry.
James Cutler.
All right, Mr. Cutliff, you're here in 2020 CF 108880AO. You're arrested for aggravated stalking, dating violence, and tampering or harassing a witness, domestic violence. And I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I don't believe we have any witnesses present. I am ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim or witness in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
I understand.
All right, you're also not to return back to the victim's residence. So that's the scene of where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Ms. Bush, or pretrial, if anybody can tell me, I didn't see that he had any prior arrests, but there is in the affidavit mention of charges being dropped. I don't know if that's for a non-arrest case or if he's got an AK. I don't know if there's a pending case. I looked up in Odyssey, I did not see anything, so I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any other case pending. It looks like the Sheriff's Office case number was 20-037474, so I don't know if that's a non-arrest case, but he has, on his face sheet doesn't have any arrests.
And I'm looking now.
Okay.
I don't see any pending matters in our system, Your Honor.
Okay, so I don't know what that other case is from the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And I don't, and
And that agency number was?
20-037474.
It was an at-large, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's a
That was
non-arrest case. Okay.
Declined to prosecute, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I've listed all of those conditions. You've indicated that you understand everything on the no contact order. Your bond on count 1 is $1,500 and $150 on count 2.
What I do? That's it? All right, thank you.
All right, tell me your name, sir.
Zachary Fry.
All right, Mr. Fryer, here in 2020 CF 10846. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated battery by strangulation, dating violence, and battery dating violence. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. I don't believe we have any witnesses present. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. No weapons, firearms, or any ammunition. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. Do you understand everything on the no contact order, Mr. Fry?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So the judge who signed the warrant put some other conditions in there, specifically about pretrial release supervision with weekly check-ins. I'm striking that. And the no return. So I'm just ordering maintain separate residence, and I gave you the one-time return, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So those should be struck from the warrant. Your bond is set at $3,500 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. right, tell me your name.
Destiny Lefkey.
All right, Ms. Lefkey, you're here in 2020 MM 6553AO. You were arrested for a violation of pretrial release condition on a domestic violence case and dating violence battery. I do find that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. I'm ordering no contact directly or indirectly with the victim or any witnesses in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. So there's no longer the non-hostile contact that I've ordered before. It is now no contact.
No contact?
No contact, directly or indirectly. Did you understand everything on the form?
Yes.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. You may return one time with law enforcement to get any personal belongings that you may need from the residence. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or ammunition. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Count 2 is $500. I am revoking the releases in 2020 CF 10224 and 2020 MM 6088. Excuse me. And I believe the public defender was previously appointed in those cases. They're going to have to file a motion to set bond for you. Good morning. Tell me your name.
How are you, Your Honor? My name is Louis Medina.
All right, Mr. Medina, you're here in 2020 CF 10615. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for aggravated stalking after an injunction, tampering or harassing a witness, domestic violence, violation of a domestic injunction, and battery domestic violence. And I will appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim or any witness in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order.
Yes, Your Honor.
No weapons, no firearms, no ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. There's an injunction. I can't modify the injunction. I know it said, I think, no hostile contact.
Correct.
So this gonna override that at this time until one's changed, okay? Until this is changed, there's no contact.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, but all the other conditions of the injunction you're to continue to abide by. So that's 19 DR-009779-0.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, your bond on count 1 is $15,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150,000. Your bond on count 3 is $1,500. Your bond on count 4 is $500. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, he currently does have a VFOSC detainer, a 5-day hold.
He has a, okay.
A 5-day hold.
He has a 5-day hold.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
Your Honor, can I ask one more question?
I would ask Mr. Matos.
The probation officer said that I wasn't, that as soon as I bond out, I can report again, but there was no VOP.
Well, when you're a violent felony offender of special concern based on either the charge that you've been arrested on or the charge that you're on probation for, there's a 5-day hold, okay?
Yes.
So they have the ability to then file an affidavit or a non-view or, get a warrant for the violation of probation. And so you won't be released until that 5-day hold goes by and if you've posted the bond, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So,
I understand.
okay. All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Johnny Medina.
All right, Mr. Medina, you're here in 2020 CF 1088180. You're arrested for tampering with a witness to hinder communication to law enforcement and domestic violence battery. I do find that there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes.
You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your things. No weapons, firearms, or ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Your bond is set at $2,500 on count 1, $500 on count 2. I'm not revoking the release on the Osceola County case.
Thank you.
If you come back, Mr. Medina, I can guarantee you, you're probably gonna be sitting on no bond on both cases, okay?
She's, huh? All right. Because she told the state.
Your Honor, is he required to be advised of his address?
Yes, he does have reporting requirements, okay? So when you get, you're gonna have to report, okay?
Okay.
Good morning, tell me your name.
Alan Walmsley.
Do we know what happened to Austin Myrie or Miri? Austin Miri?
I don't have that.
Okay, I'm just have my paperwork, I don't know. Huh? Okay, same as you guys. Okay, I don't know. This is how we got the list, so. All right. Did you say Wamsley?
Walmsley, yes.
Walmsley? Okay, Mr. Walmsley.
Your Honor, I think,
They gave him $1,000 bond.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how he would bond. I know he has a $1,000 bond. It's a domestic violence case, so it should be no bond at this time. I'm gonna stay the bond, but I'm gonna make him sign the no contact order.
Yes, yes, ma'am. I had no idea that it was.
So technically, that
No
should
bond.
have been caught, and he should not have had a bond. So, Mr. Walmsley, you're here in 2020 CF 774880. The state did file an information charging you with battery, one prior battery, domestic violence, so that is a felony. And do you want me to appoint the public defender for you?
Yes. Do I actually have a case that I'm fighting now with this? I mean, because I honestly have not
The
received.
state filed an information.
The state filed what? I'm sorry.
An information, a charging document, charging
Okay.
you with the offense, okay?
Okay, I
So
definitely need
you'll-
somebody to appoint.
So I'm
me.
gonna appoint the public defender, all
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So you'll have an attorney. I'm gonna
Do-
order that you have no contact with any victim or witness in the case.
Can I ask what this stems from? Because I don't recall. Like I haven't had any paperwork. I haven't
So it was
had
a
anything. I haven't.
It was a non-arrest case, meaning law enforcement responded, took a report, and then submitted it to the state attorney's office. They reviewed it and determined that they wanted to file charges.
Okay.
So it looks like the incident occurred on January 6th, 2020.
That was.
Okay?
Okay.
So I'll have you sign the no contact order. Did you already do that?
Yes.
Did you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. I don't know if you're living together or
Yeah,
what the situation is. You're not to return back to the victim's residence. You may return one time with law enforcement if you have anything there, no?
I haven't seen my kids or
Okay.
her since before that.
So we'll strike that part.
I
You're
don't
not
know
to
what's going on.
possess any weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And I'm gonna stay the bond. Obviously, you've posted your bond, so that bond will remain at the $1,000. The one-time return.
This is.
11?
All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Good morning. My name is Broadus Black.
All right, Mr. Black, you're here in 2020 MM 6523. And you were arrested for dating violence battery. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in your case. I'm ordering no contact directly or indirectly with any victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
You're to maintain a separate residence. You may not return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any belongings at the resort?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll let you go back with law enforcement one time to get your things. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. You're not to possess any any consume or possess any alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription. Your bond is set at $2,500. All right, thank you, sir. Good morning. Tell me your name.
James Jackson.
Mr. Jackson, you're here in 2020 MM 788 AW. It's domestic violence battery. I find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you. I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with the victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess any weapons, any firearms, or any ammunition. I'm going to place you in pretrial release. Make sure you comply with the court order as well as pretrial release, okay? All right, tell me your name, sir.
Austin Murray.
Okay. Mr. Myrie, you're here in 20 MM 652780. It's a dating violence battery. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And so I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. Do you understand everything in the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're gonna have to continue to maintain a separate residence. You're not to possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Looks like DCF was contacted. I don't know if they'll have an investigation, but if they do, you'll have to comply with any investigation. I'll place you on pretrial release for that case. You've also got 2019 MM 9683AO. It's a failure to appear for a pretrial conference on August 10th, 2020. The judge did set your bond at $2,000. Ms. Bush, I don't know if you had an offer to resolve it. He may qualify, but I don't know with the new arrest if he.
Your Honor,
You qualify for some.
I did not review.
Okay, that's fine. So that bond will stay at the $2,000.
Your Honor, just for clarification, the bond on the petty theft is?
It's $2,000 on the capias. Did you?
Oh, I
Oh,
was just
okay.
asking
I'm
because
sorry.
I hadn't.
Oh. All right. Yes. tell me your name.
Jocelyn Pollock.
All right, Ms. Pollock, you're here in 2020 MM 6544. You were arrested for battery domestic violence. I do find that there's probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. It's a little confusing because they say that at the bottom that you're charged with 2 counts of domestic violence battery, but they charged 1. So I'm ordering no contact with any victims or witnesses in the case. I don't know which one they're specifically alleging. They've listed 1 victim. I'm not really sure. So, do you understand everything on the no contact order, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your things. You may not possess weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Your bond is set at $500.
I have a question.
Thank you for that. No.
How come she doesn't qualify for PPR?
I don't know. It said no, so it said basically that she listed no emergency contact, unable to make verifications. Okay, well, it said no, so I wasn't sure, so. I don't have a problem with her doing pretrial release if they qualify, I mean, if she's qualified.
She can qualify.
Okay, so I'll place her in pretrial release, okay?
Thank you.
Tell me your name, ma'am.
Gabriella Tardis.
Ms. Tardis, you're here in 2020 MM 6524AO. It's dating violence battery. I do find that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. I'm ordering that you have no contact directly or indirectly with any victim. I'll have you sign the no contact order. You're also to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings should you need to do so. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I'm gonna place you in pretrial release. You'll be released, okay? All right, good morning. Tell me your name.
Good morning. My name is Santana
What's your last name?
Dean.
All right, Ms. Dean, you're here in 2019 CT 4339. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear for an arraignment. And the judge did set your bond at $1,500. Do we know, did she have the public defender? Ms. Bush, did you have an offer? It's a no valid driver's license. She's out on release and, okay.
Yes, Your Honor, the no valid driver's license would be an adjudication of guilt, credit time served. I did not compute that, and don't drive without a valid driver's license in court.
She's got another no valid too. 2019 CT 426AA. And then a petty theft. It looks like both stem from the same incident. Or they were, the date of arrest was the same day. And I don't really have a face sheet for her. It doesn't have anything on it, so I don't know if she has any, if she'd qualify for any of your programs on the theft case. Okay, yeah, it's just blank. I don't know, this was a traffic
Ms. Bush?
citation, I don't think she was arrested.
This is all she had. She had a juvenile arrest, but that was for petty theft or conviction. I can't see.
Okay.
For the
And then,
no
does she have time, what is her, do we know what her time served is? It looks like, she was arrested, and then she filed a bond, and then there was a failure to appear. So she has some days on that, on the 19 CT 4339.
Yeah, she has 3 days in.
3 days
3
on that
days.
one? Okay. Okay, the other case was a traffic citation issued on March 29th, 19.
March 27, 2019.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the date that it gets scanned in, and it's the 20, it's March 21st, actually.
That's for the 426, Your Honor?
Huh?
That's for the 426 citation?
Yes.
I think she might have pled on that on July 30th this year.
She might have what?
Pled on it on July 30th this year, or that's what Odyssey says.
Well, she was on the 426 AA case. She was arrested on that on August the 19th of this year, and she bonded on it
Yeah.
on the 19th
It's not resolved.
I have here that says plea by judicial officer
for
McInnes.
FTA.
Okay.
So do we know how much time served she has in that?
It's- hold on.
You said she was arrested on, looks like August 19th,
3 days as well.
3 days
3
as
days.
well.
Yeah, she was arrested on the 19th, and then she bonded right on the 19th, and then 2 days as of this arrest.
Okay. So, Ms. Dean, if you wanted to resolve the no valid driver's licenses, okay, I would do credit for time served on those, okay? No driving without a valid driver's license.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if the state has an offer on the petty theft, but you may qualify. I'm not sure what their office is doing now. If she had the driving convictions, I don't think that would disqualify her from pretrial diversion. I don't know.
And I don't know, Your Honor. But I will,
Unless you wanted to make an offer, but
if the court will give me a minute, I
Sure.
will look at the
I'll look it
other.
up too. Does she have time served in that one? It's the 2020 MM 6033AO. She bonded on the same day of her arrest.
Your Honor, I don't see that the state has filed an information.
They have not, so I can't resolve
And I
that
can't
today.
resolve that.
So, Ms. Dean, if you wanted to resolve the driving cases, we could do that today, with credit for time served. And I would adjudicate on one and withhold on the other, okay? Mr. Matos, I will appoint the public defender if she has questions about what that means.
So do I bond today or no?
Yeah, I'm not gonna take any action on your other case, but
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you don't resolve the 2 cases today, you're gonna have to go back to court for 3 separate cases. So it's up to you if you wanna talk to Mr. Matos about it, but it seems to me that you're having issues getting to court. So I don't know what that problem is or where the disconnect is there. You know, you have do you know you have an upcoming court date?
Yes, ma'am, on the 17th.
Okay.
Which, I can, you said, take it off?
Keep it up. Keep
Oh,
it on.
my,
Why don't you ask Mr. Matos if you have any questions?
She would like to resolve her no valid driving.
Okay, so, Ms. Dean, did you read the plea forms?
which is that? This, okay. And this is just for attorney, right?
I'm sorry? That's a plea
Oh, it's a
form.
plea
That's,
form.
those are the that lists the rights that you're giving up by entering the
Mhm.
plea.
Okay.
Okay. Let me know when you're done, but take your
Yes,
time
ma'am.
reading it. Okay. Did you understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
And all the rights that you're giving up by entering the plea are on there. Do you understand those?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the pleas will subject you to deportation?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I do find a factual basis to accept your pleas based on the affidavits or the complaints in the court file in 2019 CT 4339AO, as well as 2019 CT 426AA. I will adjudicate you guilty on 2019 CT 4339AO, sentence you to 3 days with credit for 3 days time served. I'll withhold adjudication in 2019 CT 426AA, sentence you to 3 days with credit for 3 days time served. No driving without a valid driver's license. I'll order you pay your court costs by September 9th, 2021. That gives you a year. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentences of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. And Ms. Dean, don't miss your court date, okay? I don't know if it's virtual or not, but you've got to show up. If you don't, you're going to end up right back here again, okay?
I honestly didn't know about, I knew about this court date, but my mom wanted to handle all my stuff, so
Okay,
she,
so I'm going to appoint the public defender. Can we do an order appointing the public defender in the petty theft case? So I'm appointing the PD in 2020 MM 6033AO. Keep in touch with them. Don't miss court, okay?
yes, ma'am. Is that all?
All right, tell me your name, please.
Terica Denise Kaiser.
All right, Ms. Kaiser, you're here in 2020 CT 5551. You were arrested for no valid driver's license. And I do find that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. Well, we also have 2020 MM 6549AO. It's providing false ID to law enforcement and resisting an officer without violence. Ms. Bush, I don't know if you have an offer for the 3 charges.
Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to appoint the public defender in both of those cases. So you're not to drive without a valid driver's license, and you're not to possess or consume any illegal substances or any alcohol without a valid prescription.
Okay.
Your bond is going to remain at the $500 on the first case, and then $500 and $100 on the second case. I'm not taking any action on the notice to appear.
No, you're right. That was updated. I gave you an updated copy. She's
Okay.
not out on bond.
Yeah, I know she's, okay. Oh,
Yes,
all right,
it's not
I see what you're saying, yeah. I looked at it and I said I'm not, because it was a notice to appear, so, okay. So, no action on that. Don't miss any court dates, okay?
I'm not.
Okay. Oh. All right. Mr. Broadus, how you doing?
Your Honor. For Mr. Broadus, he has an open felony case. His attorney reached out to me yesterday. I wrote a written plea of not guilty.
Okay.
He didn't want me to play him out today.
You gotta let us know those things because if you file them, they don't get filed and processed for a couple days sometimes. So
Understood.
you gotta let the clerks know, like
Would I-
email everybody.
Okay.
And let us know because this is a continuing issue that we're having they get filed like the day before.
Okay.
Or the morning of or whatever. So.
No worries.
So Mr. Broadus, the PD was appointed for your case. And they've entered a written plea of not guilty, okay? So you'll have a court date, and you'll go back to court at some point for the case, okay? All right, tell me your name.
Diamond Brunson, man.
All right, Mr. Brunson, this is 2020 MM 579280, and the PD was previously appointed in your case.
Yes, ma'am.
Looks like the state filed an information charging you with trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance.
Yes, ma'am.
And the second count of trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance. And those were alleged to have occurred on August 7th, 2020. They're both misdemeanors of the first degree. Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any related felonies to this
No.
case?
No,
Okay.
ma'am, I don't.
I'm showing 33 days. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, the offer conveyed was a withhold, 33 days Orange County Jail, 33 days credit time served, no contact with victim or witnesses, no return to the scene, which was the 7-Eleven at 2609 Delaney Avenue in Orlando. Abide by all trespass warnings, cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $75.42 and court costs.
All right. Mr. Brunson, did you want to resolve your case today with that offer?
I don't want to know. I just want to know. Is there any more possible time that I have to do in
No,
order
you
to?
would, I don't think, is he being held on anything else? No, you're. Okay, you would get out today, Mr. Brunson, and you would have to pay your court costs and the cost of investigation in it within a year, okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
You want to do that?
Yes, ma'am. That'll work.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
At the very top.
I need you to read the whole plea form.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
I have a period. I have a period.
No, you don't need to read it to me. I just need to make sure that you've read it and that you understand it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Let me know when you've read it. Is that Mr. Moore?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why don't we have Mr. Brunson step back there so he has some time to read the plea form, and then we'll handle Mr. Moore. We'll come back to Mr. Brunson. All right. Mr. Moore, the public defender was previously appointed in 2020 MM 578780. You're charged with possession of drug paraphernalia. It's a misdemeanor of the first degree alleged to have occurred on or about August 7th, 2020. Are you on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
You are on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Mr. Matos, you want to enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So we'll give you a court date, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Division 85, pretrial conference day will be October 5th, at 9 a.m., courtroom 4A,
All right.
When will the court date will be?
October 5th.
October 5th, okay.
Okay, and you can always resolve it earlier than that. You just need to contact the public defender if you've resolved your probation issue, okay?
Probation is in Kissimmee.
Okay.
So can
Well,
we,
you can get with the PD. They're doing pleas from Kissimmee here too,
so we can get it ran together?
it's possible. I don't
Yes.
know if they'll run it together, but you might be able to resolve both together, okay?
Okay, okay.
All right, and then did we have Delvis Tavera?
I did not, Your Honor.
Okay, it was in,
I'm sorry, it's coming up.
okay, this is an IN case,
Yes, Your Honor, it's an infraction.
so he's not entitled to
No, Your Honor, it's an infraction.
Okay, yeah.
Under 327.395, voting safety education.
Okay.
And the penalties statute is 327.73 sub 5.
327.73 sub
Sub
25.
No, it's sub 5
Oh,
for
sub-
the penalties.
Okay.
And
He's not in on this case, is he?
he's not in jail on this infraction.
I don't even know if I can look it up, but let's see. I've never had one of these at arraignment here. So
And Your Honor,
there's a related juvenile case to this case.
yes, Your Honor.
All right. So we're just gonna enter a plea of not guilty. There's a juvenile case pending that's related, so we're not gonna do anything with it today. So that's 2020 IN 21AO, and are you Delvis Tavera?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna enter a plea of not guilty and give you a court date, okay? But he doesn't get it's not a criminal thing, so no PD. It's not criminal. I'm just letting her know, not to appoint the public defender.
Okay, so pre-trial conference date is October 13th at 9 a.m., courtroom 9C, Division 80.
Okay? All right, Mr. Brunson, are you done reading the plea form? Okay, come on forward. 2020 MM 579280. Mr. Brunson, you've read the plea form. You wanted to accept the plea. Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am, I'm not.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the pleas will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I find a factual basis based on both of the charges to accept your plea. I will withhold adjudication on each count, sentence you to 33 days with credit for 33 days time served. Each count will run concurrent. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness in the case. You're not, I closed out my information, Ms. Bush, so it's no return back to the 7-Eleven, and it was on
7-Eleven
Delaney?
at 2609 Delaney Avenue in Orlando.
Okay, thank you. And so abide by the trespass warning, all right? There's a cost of investigation to the Orlando Police Department in the amount of $75.42. Now, order you pay that and your court costs by September 9th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentences of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you, sir. Good luck. You'll get out today, okay, Mr. Brunson? All right, tell me your name.
Megan Cassidy.
Ms. Cassidy, you're here on a Seminole County status hearing in, the docket case number is 1910 1414 MMA, and it says, per Seminole County, the state would ask the bond amount of $3,500 not be disturbed. So your bond is still $3,500. If you're unable to make or post that bond, the public defender was previously appointed, so you can contact them and they can file a bond motion to modify that, okay?
Okay, do you have the information for that? Because
Yes.
Well, you were appointed the public
I
defender.
wasn't there, I was in Osceola.
Okay, they provided you no court. Okay, you weren't in, okay, I don't, you had to have come here at some point, so.
No, ma'am. I've been here for 1 week, then Orange County, that's it.
Right, did you see a judge here?
Yes.
Okay, and the PD was appointed on that day for you, okay?
Oh, they didn't tell me that, okay.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
I have Kyle.
It's medical, Your Honor.
Okay, so the PD was previously appointed in 2019 CF 7553 and 2019 CF 8694. It's a Polk County cases. Mr. Matos, do you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, per Judge Jacobson, defendant is to remain pending further investigation and direction and/or until transport resumes. And that's in 19 CF 7553 and 19 CF 8694. The bail or bond is stayed or set at $5,000 on each count. Okay. Yeah, one is to remain, and then the other one, it says leave bail set as is 5,000 times 2. I don't know. I'm just reading the notes. I don't make them. Okay, and then we have two 33-day motions for one William Omari Unique Johnson filed by Carlos Haynes. I think information was filed in that case.
And information was filed, and are we on Molitor, Your Honor?
No, that was Johnson.
On Johnson, the filing ID is 113028665, and the information was filed on September 8th.
And it was filed yesterday, 8/9/8.
Yes, Your Honor, 9/8.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Karan Moore.
All right, Mr. Moore, you're here in 2020 CF 10869AO. You're arrested for burglary of an occupied dwelling and grand theft third degree. They do find there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You're not to have any contact directly or indirectly with any victim, witness, or co-defendant. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. That's the 8000 Essex Point. And so you're not to return back to the Essex luxury apartment complex. And your bond will be stayed at the $5,000 and $150 plus pretrial release. Oh, I left my pen. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Tydarius Preston.
All right, Mr. Preston, you're here in 2020 CF 10866AO. You're arrested for petty theft with 2 prior theft convictions. I do find probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender. You're not to have any contact with any victim or witness. Not to return back to the Walmart at 10500 West Colonial Drive in Ocoee, Florida. Abide by the trespass warning. Your bond will stay at $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Yes, Evener Adonis.
Mr. Adonis, you're here in 2020 MM 6545AO. You're arrested for trespass on property after warning. I do find probable cause. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, this,
Your Honor, if I may.
Hold on, Mr. Adonis. We're gonna see if the state wants to resolve your case today too, okay?
okay.
The offer is an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to Lake Eola Park for 364 days, and abide by all trespass warnings.
And Ms. Bush, I would probably withhold. He has no prior convictions if you wanted to resolve it. I would, Mr. Adonis doesn't have any priors. So,
I would like to say something.
Well, I don't want you to say anything until you resolve the case. So, Mr. Matos, as a friend of the court, I didn't appoint you, but would you be able to speak with Mr. Adonis to see what his question is? Thank you.
I would like to write down some, too. This is the court order. 444, 590, 740. This is completely legal. It's an amendment. 7.7434914.3. I would like to be checked for the legality of this situation, at least on this particular amendment. Yeah.
And Your Honor, just for the record, the reason the state recommended
this
an
is the court order.
adjudication, he completed a
On the record.
pretrial diversion on battery on a
Actual
law
proof that it's
enforcement
legal.
officer
Okay.
in
This is the
2019.
proof. No, this is the proof that.
Mr. Adonis, we're not gonna be able to resolve your case today. I think that maybe you just need some more time to talk to somebody.
Okay,
So I'm
can I write
gonna
down?
appoint the public defender. You cannot return back to, I think it's the Lake Eola Park. You've been trespassed from there, Mr. Adonis. If you
Yes.
go back, you're probably gonna get arrested, okay? I don't wanna see you get arrested again. So stay away from Lake Eola Park. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance. I don't have an address for you, so I'm gonna order that you get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of your release so that they know how to get in touch with you and any notice can be sent to you. You're gonna get a court date when you get out of jail, okay?
Okay, according to, can I write it down again?
No, no.
Okay,
She's gonna release. Call that number. Call this number when you get out.
okay, so I'm gonna sue
Okay.
this court.
That's the public defender.
I'm gonna sue you guys, okay. Legal.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
My name is Raymond Belshner.
All right, Mr. Belshner, you're here in 2020 MM 231AE. You're arrested for disorderly intoxication. There's probable cause. And Ms. Bush, did you have an offer to resolve the case?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the Walgreens on West Kennedy Boulevard, and court costs, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Belshner, did you want to do that today?
I'd like to get out today.
Okay, you will. I'm not going to take any action on your other case, okay? Did you read the plea form?
Could you repeat that, ma'am?
Did you read the plea form?
The pizza?
The plea form. Did you read the plea form? The one that they gave you? That.
No.
Okay, why don't you step back and read it, and we'll call your case again.
Okay.
All right, good afternoon, sir. Tell me your name, please.
That's Dwayne Fleming.
Mr. Fleming, you're here in 2020 MM 232AE. You were arrested for disorderly intoxication. I find probable cause. And Ms. Bush, is it the same offer?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so that would be an adjudication of guilt, credit for time served, which is the 2 days. I think you were trespassed, so you can't go back to the Walgreens, and I would impose court costs and give you a year to pay that. Do you want to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yeah.
And all those rights you're giving up by entering the plea, do you understand them?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, I do.
All right, I find a factual basis. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. No return to the Walgreens at 2814 West Kennedy Boulevard. Abide by the trespass, and I will order you pay your court costs by September 9th, 2021. That gives you a year. If you'd
Okay.
like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Belschner, did you read the plea form?
Yes, I read it, ma'am.
Okay, you understand everything on it?
What was the question, ma'am? I'm sorry, I got bad hearing.
Why don't we replaced the headphones yesterday. They're ordering new ones because it has a little bit of a short. It's just, I guess,
Okay.
based on the angle of the monitor. All right, can you hear me, Mr. Belschner?
Yes, I can
Better?
now.
Okay, all right. So,
Much.
did you read the plea form?
This form that you just got?
That one that I just had you step back and read.
Yes.
Okay, did you understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
Okay, I find a factual basis. I'll adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. No return to the Walgreens. You were trespassed from there, so that's 2814 West Kennedy Boulevard. And abide by the trespass, and your court costs will be due by why do I keep saying November? September 9th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. You have another case out on release, so make sure you don't miss that court date, okay? Keep in touch with your attorney on it.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Tell me your name, sir. Can you tell me your name?
James Perez, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Perez, you're here in 2020 MM 6546AO. It's possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. And Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. It's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, and court costs.
You want to do that, Mr. Perez?
What is it, ma'am? I
It's
can't
credit
hear.
for time served.
Time served?
And I'll give you a year to pay your court costs off.
Yes, ma'am. Time
Okay.
served?
Did you read the plea form?
I can't hear well, ma'am.
Okay, we'll just have those headphones handy.
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation? Is
Yes,
that a...
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
Okay.
understand.
I find a factual basis. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. Pay your court costs by September 9th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day. All right. Good afternoon. Oh, tell me your name. Do we know Ashley Poindexter?
She refused, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm gonna find her refusal to be a waiver. And I'm gonna reset her for tomorrow.
Your Honor,
Let's see if she wants to come to court tomorrow.
she has been found incompetent to proceed in prior cases, so
Okay, all right, so she wouldn't enter a plea, you would
Yeah.
not want that. Okay, so I'll appoint the public defender, find her refusal to be a waiver, 2020 MM 783AW, it's trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause, and she's not to return back to 5004 Old Winter Garden Road. No contact with any victims or witnesses in the case, abide by the trespass. And I'm gonna release her on her own recognizance. She's to get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of her release. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Angel Felix Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you're here in 2020 MM 6528AO. It's trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause. Ms. Bush, did you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no return to the Home Depot at 6006 East Colonial Drive, abide by all trespass warnings, no contact with witnesses, and court costs.
All right, did you want to do that, Mr. Rodriguez?
I said you find probable cause, so I guess I have no choice, but I
Well,
do
you
want
have
to
a
tell
choice.
you about my
You don't have
car.
to accept the state's offer.
Okay. Well, my car's on the property, and I don't have to go. Like, I can agree with not going back to that property.
Well,
but,
you've been trespassed, so you
Yeah.
can't go back. So whether you agree to go back or not, you can't go back. You've been
Yeah. Well,
trespassed.
what
I
if
don't
my
want you to
car's
talk
there?
about the facts of the case. So
Okay.
do you want to accept the plea or not accept the plea? That's the only question that I am asking you. It's a credit for time served offer, and you can't go back there anyway.
What about if my car's there?
I will let you go back with law enforcement to get your car.
All right, sure. Then I could accept it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you read the plea form?
Yeah.
Did you understand everything on the plea form?
So far, yeah.
Okay. Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
Is that a no?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I find a factual basis. I'll adjudicate you guilty. Sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days time served. You may not return back to the Home Depot at 6066 East 6006 East Colonial Drive. No contact with victims or witnesses. Abide by the trespass. I'll let you go back with law enforcement one time to get your car. And I'll order you pay your court costs by September 9th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck.
Can I get any information on help with court costs? All right. That's it?
All right, tell me your name, please.
Javante Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here in 2020 MM 787AW. It's trespass on property after warning. I find probable cause. And was there an offer, Ms. Bush?
Yes, Your Honor, it's an adjudication of guilt, 2 days Orange County Jail, 2 days credit time served, no contact with victim or witnesses, no return to the Wawa at 13501 West Colonial Drive, abide by all trespass warnings and court costs.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, did you want to do that?
Sure.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Okay, did you read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand everything on the plea form?
Yes.
Do you understand all the rights you're giving up by entering the plea?
Yes.
Are you on probation anywhere?
No.
You understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, the plea will subject you to deportation.
Yes.
All right, I find a factual basis. I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days with credit for 2 days, time served. No return back to the Wawa 13501 West Colonial Drive. Abide by the trespass. No contact with victims or witnesses. Pay your court costs by September 9th, 2021. If you'd like to appeal the judgment and sentence of the court, you must do so in writing within 30 days. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Good luck, sir. All right, tell me your name.
Hi there. My name is Orlando Vargas.
All right, Mr. Vargas, you're here in 2020 MM 6550AO. You're arrested for battery. I do
Yes.
find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. I don't think the state's gonna have an offer today to resolve anything. So you're not to have any contact with the victim in the case, no weapons, firearms, or any ammunition, and no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. They've qualified you for pretrial release, so I'm gonna place you on pretrial release, okay?
Prepare release. Okay, kiss me.
Ms. Bush, do you happen to have an offer for the next case, Mr. Smith? It's a failure to appear on a trespass.
He's been found, Christopher Smith.
Okay.
He's been found incompetent in some cases as well, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. All right. Is this Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Okay, come on up, Mr. Smith. All right, state your name for the record, please.
Christopher Matt Smith.
Okay, you're here in 2018 MM 11223AO, and it's the failure to appear for an arraignment on January 22nd, 2019. And the judge did set your bond at $2,500. Does he have the public defender already in that? Okay, so I'm not gonna take any action on the other case that you have, but you're gonna have to have your attorneys file a motion if you can't afford to post the bond, okay?
Okay then. Hey, I was gonna tell you, on this case, I was incarcerated at a Florida State Hospital.
Okay, that's something that they'll put in the motion.
Okay then.
But I can't legally change the capias,
Okay
okay?
then.
All right,
All right,
sir.
thank you.
Good luck. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Alicia Shante Brand.
Okay, Miss Brand. All right, Miss Brand, you're here. Do we have the domestic violence and the VOP? Do you have both? Because I have I have two cases. I have an on-view violation of probation, and then the second case is a domestic violence battery. This morning it was a little confusing because they didn't have the DV, so that's why she wasn't set on the morning docket. Can anyone tell me if the documents that I got are correct, or?
I have both.
I have,
You're
the
correct.
state
You
has
have both?
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I have both.
Everybody's got both now. Okay, all right. So I've got 2020 MM 6522AO. It's domestic violence battery. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. And in that case, I am ordering no contact directly or indirectly with any victim in the case. I'll have you sign the no contact order. That can be changed at a later date in writing. You're to maintain a separate residence. You may return one time with law enforcement to get your things. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. No weapons or firearms or any ammunition. Do you understand everything on the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to set your bond at $500 in that matter. In 2018 CF 15186AO, it is an on-view violation of probation based on this new law offense. And so I do find probable cause for that. I am going to stay the bond at none and appoint the public defender. You'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days, but the public defender can file any motions to set bond for you. Okay, ma'am? All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Wendy Alexander.
All right, Miss Alexander. Alexander?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're here in 2020 CF 10874 AO. It's possession of cocaine, possession of heroin, possession of methamphetamine, and retail petty theft. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. You cannot return back to the Walmart Supercenter at 5991 South Goldenrod Road. No contact with victims or witnesses. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm staying the bonds as set at 1,000, 150, 150, and 100. I'm not taking any action on the other cases. Don't miss court. Keep in touch with your attorneys. If you get arrested again, chances are 3 cases out there. It's not going to be a good day. Tell me your name, sir.
Antoine Latreille Atkins.
All right, Mr. Atkins, you're here in 2020 CF 10862 AO. You're arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. I do find that there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender. No contact with any victims or witnesses. You're not to drive without a valid driver's license. Your bond will stay at $5,000. All right, thank you, sir. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Latanya Basdeo.
All right, Miss Basdeo, you're here in a couple cases. I've got 2020 CF 10823, possession of methamphetamine, possession of hydromorphone, which is dilaudid, possession of MDMA, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender in that case for you. You've also got 2020 CF 5652, and that's a warrant. Probable cause was already found for possession of MDMA, possession of cocaine, and possession of drug paraphernalia, and I'll appoint the public defender in that case for you as well. Both cases, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. On 10823, the bond will stay at 1,000, 150, 150, 100, or ROR on count 4 and 100 on count 5. 5652, the bond will stay at 3,500 on count 1, 150, and 100.
The first bond for the first count was 1,500.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, for the first count of the first bond, the first bond was 1,500. Are you serious?
1,000
One.
and then 1.
Okay.
All right, and then Melissa Brooks bonded. What? 2001 9780.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, tell me your name.
Ricardo Brown, ma'am.
Mr. Brown, you're here in 2020 CF 10852 AO.
Ma'am, before you
Arrested-
start, can I say something?
I would not. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Why don't you tell Mr. Matos what you want to tell me, and he'll relay anything that needs to be relayed, okay?
he's just concerned about the bonds. He's just saying since he's homeless, he has nobody in it.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying, Mr. Matos.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
I can, now that you're talking loud.
Calendar doesn't work. It's just, he's just concerned how long he's gonna be here since he has no family or anybody in the area that could bond him out. So he's just asking the court to set the lowest possible reasonable bond.
I'm homeless, ma'am.
Okay, well, we'll get there.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
all right, so you stopped me before I started, so.
I'm sorry.
Okay. 2020 CF 10852AO, you're charged with grand theft, third degree of a motor vehicle, possession of MDMA, and tampering with physical evidence. There's probable cause. I did appoint the public defender. All right, so I've got 2 failures to appear, the last one being December of 2019. I have 18 unknown convictions, 6 felony, 5 misdemeanor. Last conviction was January 30th of this year. And I don't believe he qualified for
Is-
pretrial release.
Failure to appear? On what charge, sir?
Due to a high-risk assessment. So I don't, unless you want to present me some more testimony, Mr. Matos, but I don't think if I stay the bonds that they're unreasonable bonds for the charges, as well as the fact that of his failures to appear, the convictions, and then the last conviction being this year.
Your Honor, can we show, we can probably get some of his community ties, maybe we can limit the interrogation to that.
Okay, because I have never held a job and unemployed, and how long he's been unemployed for life, okay? And he's been, I don't know how long he's been in Orlando or any of that information.
All my life.
So, Mr. Brown, do you want to raise your right hand to be sworn in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
May I call you on? Mr. Brown, how long have you been in Orlando?
You can put your hand down, Mr. Brown.
I've been here all my life, sir.
And where exactly do you live here in Orlando?
1200 City Park Avenue. But my family died like 4 years ago, so I don't have nobody.
Sorry, I'm just writing this down.
And I've been, I had the diagnosis of mental health problems since I was a little kid.
Mr. Brown, have you ever held a job here in Orlando?
No, sir, that's the reason why, because I have a mental condition.
And how much money do you have in your savings?
I have like $35, that's it.
Do you have anybody else here in Orlando?
My brother, but like I say, like ever since my family died, everybody's been separated and not talking. So it's hard for me right now.
Well, do you have any other property or anything you can use to liquidate?
I have food stamps. I get that every 23rd of the month. That's it.
So you don't have, so what you're saying is you don't have any actual liquid cash apart from that $35?
No, sir. That's all I have. They got $35 in my account now. That's all I have.
And, keep it. And so you have no property, you don't have a job because of the mental diagnosis that you had.
Yes, sir.
And you have no other family apart from yourself. You're
No, sir.
staying at
1200 City Park Avenue
here in Orlando.
Yes, sir. And I've been seeing the
You can't
doctor.
talk over each other.
And I've been seeing the doctor. His name Dr. Lopez. I've been seeing him most of my life, from my childhood to my teenage years. They stopped my check when I was 18. I went to a program and they cut it off.
And what would be a bond that you can afford, Mr. Brown?
I say a more reasonable bond for me to afford is like $100. I can afford that.
Your Honor, just based on the fact that Mr.
I promise.
Brown isn't going anywhere, he's lived here his entire life, doesn't have any actual money or family here in Orlando, has an address at 1200 City Park Avenue. We just asked the court to set a bond for $1,000.
And I never had a failure to appear like that. Like I'm not a.
Well, I'm showing 2 failures to appear.
The only
so-
reason, one of them came from them sending the wrong email address, address. I got it on the paperwork, it said the wrong address. That's the only reason I got it late, ma'am. I would have been if it wasn't for that, I would have showed up. I just want to tell you that.
Okay. What is the mental health disorder that you were
Mental
diagnosed?
retardation. I've been seeing the doctors ever since I was younger.
Okay, so no contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond on count 1 is 500, count 2, all ROR, count 3, all ROR.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. That you should be able to afford that bond. If anything happens, you can call that number at the top and they'll be able to do the bond. ROR, releasing your accounts.
Today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem, man. Best of luck.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, for Mr. Cronister, I think he has a private attorney.
Yes, Mr. Lickeback, so we're gonna call Mr. Lickeback. Do you need the number?
Was $100 in ROR times 2. He knows he has to come up with $100 cash or $100. I think he meant he could pay $100. He's going to have to come up with I'm hoping he doesn't think, and he shouldn't, because he's been in jail a long time.
Mr. Lickeback, this is Judge Wish. How are you?
Just fine, Judge Wish.
Good. Nice to hear your voice.
Well, it's good to be able to participate
Well,
in this.
we're happy to
unique way.
accommodate. We're happy to accommodate. And I have your client, George Cronister, before me. And so, sir, can you state your name for the record?
George Zachary Cronister.
All right, Mr. Cronister, you're here in 2019 CF 14707AO. You were arrested pursuant to a capias. The state did file an information charging you with battery on a law enforcement officer. And the judge who found probable cause set your bond at $1,000. So, you're here from DOC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, no contact with any victims or witnesses, and no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, and the bond will stay at $1,000. Mr. Lickeback, did you want to place anything on the record?
Judge, the curious thing about his case, or unusual, I should say, is that his DOC sentence will be finished on Friday. So he'll be eligible for release from the Orange County Jail after posting that bond.
Okay, yes.
So
Uh-huh.
they probably don't get cases like that very often.
We actually have been getting them, so,
Have you?
but I do show that his sentence is, until 9/11/2020.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So
So
then.
as long as he's released on 9/11, we're happy.
Yeah, well, he'll have to post the bond, but obviously, but.
Yes, he will.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so no contact with any victims or witnesses and no weapons or firearms or ammunition, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything, and you, Mr. Lickeback, you're filing a notice of appearance?
I've actually been in the case for 3 or 4 months. We've been doing discovery.
Okay, I do show that he's on probation. I'm not sure if that's after the DOC sentence.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
so
Yes.
okay, good. Okay, so just make sure that you comply with it, or any report, and if you have to report to probation once you're released, that you do that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you have questions, then talk to Mr. Lickeback about it, all right? Anything else, Mr. Lickeback?
No, I think we've covered all the bases.
All right, I hope you had fun at the birthday party.
I did. You know Mr. Hanley?
Yes,
Yeah, he's a sport.
all right. Well,
93.
That's crazy. All right, well, you have a great day.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Goodbye.
you, sir. All right, thank you. All right, please tell me your name.
Joshua Crane.
All right, Mr. Crane, you're here in 2020 CF 1059180. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant which probable cause was previously found for fleeing and attempting to elude a law enforcement officer. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. I am gonna place you on pretrial release. Make sure that you comply with what they tell you to do. Don't get arrested again. If you get arrested, you can be held at no bond and that release can be revoked, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Any conditions, Your Honor?
No. Don't get arrested?
Okay.
Don't drive without a valid driver's license.
Did it say that he did not have a it said something about the registered.
No, Your Honor, but
Okay, I'll say don't drive without a valid driver's license. I don't know if you have a valid driver's license or not, but don't drive if you don't have one, okay? All right, tell me your name.
Susan Kraus.
All right. Ms. Kraus, so you're here in 2020 CF 10876AO. It's possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia. Do find probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And then I've got 2020 MM 6551AO, possession of cannabis less than 20 grams and possession of drug paraphernalia. So on the felony, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And I'm gonna stay the bond at 1,000 and count two will be 100. On the other case, on the misdemeanor, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, I'm gonna ROR on count one, 100 on count two. I'm not taking any action on the out on release case. Ms. Crusoe, I'll tell you, if you come back again, you may not be getting out.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Deborah Fotis.
Ms. Fotis, you're here in 2020 CF 10872AO. It's possession of MDMA. There's probable cause, and I will appoint the public defender to represent you. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. Where are you living?
I live in off of East Colonial.
Okay, what's the one?
1717.
Harold Road?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, and that's where you get your mail?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna order that you get in touch with the public defender within 24 hours of your release. I'm gonna release you on your own recognizance with the condition of no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. If you move or change your address or anything like that, you need to let the clerk and the public defender's office know. If you don't show up to court, you're probably gonna get a warrant, okay?
Okay.
No bond, all right?
All right. Thank you.
Make sure you call our number.
All right. Thank you.
This is Harper.
Tell me your name.
Trevor Harper.
Mr. Harper, you're here in 2020 CF 10861AO. You're arrested for burglary of a structure, burglary of a conveyance, grand theft third degree between 10,000 and 20,000, and criminal mischief more than 1,000. And there is probable cause for those offenses. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. No return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with any victims or witnesses or co-defendants in the case. The bond will stay at 3,500, 150, 150, and 150.
What's this for? I've been in jail for 2.5 months. Harper? Harper. Yep, one.
Hey, oh. And then we're gonna be on the Mr. Johnson, we're gonna be calling Attorney Murphy, I don't know. That's the next one after this one. All right, come forward, please. Can you tell me your name?
Rovester Ingram.
All right, Mr. Ingram, You're here in 2020 CF 108738. You're arrested for kidnapping with intent to inflict bodily harm or terrorize the victim. Aggravated battery on a person 65 years of age or older. I do find probable cause, and I'll appoint the public defender. The kidnapping is a life or punishable by life felony. So, Ms. Bush, does the state wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the facts that are contained within the sworn arrest affidavit. Those facts consist of witness testimony, surveillance video, and between the surveillance video and witness and victim testimony and investigative means, it was determined that Mr. Ingram is the person that did commit kidnapping when he drug the victim that he was beating and kicking, and the victim had escaped into the store. He drug him out of the store so that he could continue beating and kicking him. And the state would ask the court to find that proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Rovester Ingram is the person so identified via video surveillance and witness statements and victim statement, and hold him at no bond as to the kidnapping.
All right, Mr. Matos?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, for kidnapping, not only there must be movement, but the movement must be more than slight, inconsequential, and merely incidental to the crime that's happened. The movement must not be the kind that is inherent for the actual crime that's being committed, and the movement must have a significance independent from the actual crime that's being committed. Your Honor, although Mr. Ingram is alleged to have battered the victim, at this point in time, the movement was only slight, and to say it was definitely inherent to commission of a battery. You must be able to touch the victim, and if the victim is pulling away, to be able to drag him and hit him is part of the commission of the aggravated battery. Your Honor, the fact that Mr. Ingram walked away as soon as the battery was completely was over just shows that there's no there's no significant independent other action with the movement but to commit the battery, and therefore I would ask the court to find that there's proof is not evident and proof is not great and guilt is not evident in this case instead of reasonable bond at this time.
I'm looking at the notes of decision under the kidnapping statute of 787.01. And under movement of victim, also defined as aspiratation of victim. A lot of these things relate to sexual battery and things of that nature, but movement and confinement of victim was not inconsequential in a multitude of cases here where they just slightly moved the individual.
Yes,
I understand what you're saying. Here under provision of kidnapping statute covering intent to commit or facilitate commission of any felony, defendant committed a kidnapping by robbing the victim at gunpoint, then directing her to the doorway into nearby hallway where he sexually assaulted her, even though movement was only 3 feet. So it's the probable cause, and so yes, I understand it's a greater burden for purposes of proof, evident, presumption, great. But your argument is going towards probable cause.
Well, yes, Your Honor, but my argument is mainly focused on the second element, that the touching of the fight was continuous, and therefore it was inherent for the actual aggravated battery.
Right, but dragging somebody or pulling them or removing them from a building and out to take them outside when is I don't believe, based on the case law that I'm looking at, is slight or inconsequential. It's it's the act of moving them. So, Ms. Bush, did you have any argument?
Your Honor, the asportation of the victim in this matter was far more than inconsequential, and it was not inherent to the battery, because that's proven by the fact that Mr. Ingram battered him inside the store, battered him outside of the store. When he escaped into the store, Mr. Ingram drags him out while he's battering him inside the store, outside the store, and continues to kick and batter him. So the state would submit to the court that it was not an inconsequential asportation, and the state would ask the court to find proof is evident or presumption is great that Mr. Ingram is the person that committed this kidnapping.
So yeah, what I'm looking at here is that the male paid for his items, went outside, and Mr. Ingram followed him and began punching and kicking him. Then the victim came back inside, and then the male, Mr. Ingram, continued hitting him. Then he dragged him outside and continued punching and kicking him. There's a video of the incident. I don't think it's inconsequential, and I do find proof evident presumption great based on the fact that it's on video, and there's multiple witnesses who saw what happened, who spoke with law enforcement, who corroborated what the victim said and what was on the video. So he forcibly pulled the victim outside the store without lawful authority and with the intent to inflict bodily harm by continuously punching and kicking him while he was out, after he pulled him outside. So I do find proof evident presumption great. I'm gonna hold him at no bond on count 1. Count 2, the bond will be $30,000. No contact with any victim or any witness in the case, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition, no return back to 660 North Orange Avenue in Winter Park, the Citgo gas station. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. And so, Mr. Ingram, your attorneys will file a motion downtown for you. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name. Are they on the line? Okay. Good afternoon. This is Judge Wish. Who is this?
Michael Johnson.
Hi, Judge Wish. This is Tom Murphy with Corey Cohen's office.
Hi, Mr. Murphy. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Okay. Are you filing a notice of appearance, or your office for Michael Johnson?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Okay. And is this Michael Johnson
Yes,
before
ma'am.
me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just state your name for me, please.
Michael Maurice Johnson.
Okay. And Mr. Johnson, your attorney is on the phone. Is it going to be you representing him, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right. So he's here in 2020 CF 10863AO. He's charged with possession of a weapon or ammunition by a convicted felon. And there is probable cause for that offense. I will appoint the public defender. I'm sorry, I'm not appointing the public defender because you're going to be representing him.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. I am going to stay the bond at the $5,000. Looks like the state did, he's out on release. The state did file an information for trafficking in 200 grams or more of, I can't pronounce it.
Phenethylamines, yes.
Which is
I see that in 2020 CF 10863.
It's 20,
And I-
it's actually 2019 CF 4725.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just read that number off the top. But yes, Your Honor, you're right. That is the number. And I looked through that. I don't see anything that's been filed in relation to this. So I would just ask the court to not place a hold on him and allow him to just bond out on the charge that we're here for today.
All right, so well, based on the new law offense and what he's out on release for, I am gonna revoke the release in that case. He's represented by Mr. Fromang on that case,
Yes, Your Honor.
so you may wanna get with Mr. Fromang. They have filed an amended information with all those charges, with driving while license suspended as well, not that that's too significant.
Well, can I point out just a couple of things while I've got everybody on the phone?
Sure.
As far as our, and I know we don't represent him in this other case, but to our knowledge, he's never failed to appear for court, lived at the same address for at least 5 years, Central Florida his whole life. I believe he's a paraplegic and usually he's in a wheelchair. Diabetic. I know the police found some medications and whatnot in the bag where they also alleged to have found the firearm, and helps take care of it and support at least 4 children in the home. So just for those reasons, we would ask the court to reconsider the bond issue with the case that's being handled by Mr. Fromang.
Okay, well, I don't know about being a paraplegic, because he's standing before me.
I'm not walking.
Okay, but
Yes, ma'am.
you're able to walk, correct?
I'm getting a little movement in my
Okay.
limb in therapy.
All right, well, I do show failure to appear in 2019, 28 unknown convictions, been to Department of Corrections 3 times, 6 felony convictions,
Oh.
2 misdemeanors, and a DV battery conviction in 2019, along with violent offenses convictions. And the fact that he's out on release for a very serious offense, it's an F1 level 7, 7-year minimum mandatory.
Ma'am.
And he's a convicted felon and is not to possess weapons.
Ma'am.
So Mr. Johnson, I know you want to talk,
Yeah, I just-
but I think that your attorney would probably not want you to say anything. I know it's difficult. So maybe-
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I certainly don't say anything about your case, Mr. Johnson.
Okay. So what I am going to revoke the release. I do know that they are getting bond hearings held. And so Mr. Fromang will have to file a bond motion for you in the 2019 CF 4725AO case. I am revoking that bond and setting that at none. He does have a court date coming up in about 2 weeks for that. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Murphy, but that's just what I'm going to do today.
I understand, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Johnson, you'll have to get in touch with Mr. Fromang. I don't know if Mr. Murphy would do that on your behalf as well, since you're here.
I'll call him.
Okay, so he will call Mr. Fromang for you, and Mr. Fromang will have to file a bond motion for you,
What's going
okay?
on? I don't understand what happened.
I revoked your release on the case that you're out on release on, that you're out on bond on, because of the new law offense, okay? So I've set your bond, I've stayed your bond at the $5,000 that it came in on the weapons offense. So you can't possess any weapons or firearms or ammunition. And then the drug case, I've revoked that release and set that bond at none, and you'll have to get in touch with Mr. Fromang, but Mr. Murphy's indicated that he will also reach out to him as well. So he'll file a bond motion for you.
So I gotta go through a bond motion to get a bond.
Yes, you'll have to go through a bond motion to get a bond. And that's in Division 19. I'm sorry, the new case is in Division 19. The Division 17 is the other case. All right, Mr. Murphy, did you want to put anything else on the record?
No, that's all, Your Honor. Mr. Johnson, I'm going to call Mr. Fromang in just a minute and let him know.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Murphy. Okay. have a
You
good
bet.
day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, bye-bye. All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Howard Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones. You're here in 2020 CF 10868AO. You're arrested for possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. If you find that there's probable cause, I'll appoint the public defender. No drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. The bond will stay at 1,000 on count 1, 100 on count 2. I'm not taking any action on your release case. You have a court date coming up. Don't miss that, okay?
You know when my court date is for that?
It says 9/22, but don't listen to what I say, because I don't know if they've waived your appearance or anything like that. So make sure you get in touch with the public defender and you find out. Okay?
All right.
All right, please tell me your name. Oh. Okay, please tell me your name.
Luis Martinez, ma'am. I'm sorry.
All right, Mr. Martinez. This is 2020 CF 1082780. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant. And probable cause was found for petty theft with a prior theft conviction, dealing in stolen property, and providing verification of ownership to a pawnbroker, or it should be false verification. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. You're not to return back to the Value Pawn at 6615 East Colonial Drive. No contact with any victims or witnesses.
Excuse me, ma'am.
As it relates to the theft, you're not to return to the victim's residence. The Judge Bain put on there, and I did speak with him, pretrial release weekly check-ins, but I'm striking that. So it's just no contact with the victim, and witnesses, no return to the pawn shop and the victim's residence. The bond on count 1, I'm setting at $100. Count 2 will stay at $2,500. Count 3 will be $150. You don't qualify for pretrial release, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I
I
ask a
would talk to
question?
Mr. Matos,
I'm sorry.
not me.
You have a good day, ma'am.
Your Honor, he's just saying he was supposed to be in court
150.
today, but I'm giving him the phone number of the
I'm
public-
sorry?
He was supposed to be in court today. I'm just giving him the phone number of his public defender so
Okay.
he can talk to him. They're different county judges. So court here, we'll be able to reach out to that county and talk to the actual judge and thing. They're told to get out.
So there's no hold. There's no hold. I can get out, right?
Oh, I don't know if you got a phone. I just want to know when he's getting checked. Not here.
Just call that number.
They'll tell you as soon as you pass.
Thank you, bro.
No problem.
All right, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Your Honor, Samantha Monroe refused.
Okay, I'm gonna find her refusal to be a waiver. Appoint the public defender in all 3 of her cases. I'm finding a waiver because she's refusing. So 2019 CF 15108. It's a failure to appear. Her bond is set at none. And does she have the PD in that case? Just want to make sure she has an attorney. Okay, so I did say I was appointing on all 3 cases, but wasn't sure, I didn't realize that was a failure to appear. Okay, 2020 CF 6638AO, and that's a warrant. Probable cause was found for burglary of an unoccupied structure, grand theft 3rd degree, between $10,000 and $20,000, dealing in stolen property, receiving money from a pawnbroker by false verification, criminal mischief, trespass, and breaking or injuring a fence. And so it looks like the state did file an information in that case and charged dealing in stolen property, burglary of a structure, receiving money from a pawnbroker, petty theft of 100 or more, and unlawful possession of personal identification information of another. So I'm gonna set bonds on the 5 counts and ROR on the last 2 counts. So count one, the bond will stay at 2,500. Count two will stay at 1,000. Count three will stay at 1,500. Count four will stay at 1,000, and count five will stay at 500. ROR on count 6 and 7. No contact with any victims, witnesses, or co-defendants, and no return back to the Florida rental equipment. And then no return to any pawn shop. And then we've got 2020 CF 9188AO, and that's Acapius. The state filed an information for petty theft, 2 prior theft convictions, and probable cause was previously found. I did appoint the public defender. She's not to have any contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant. She's not to return back to the Walmart at 11250 East Colonial Drive, and that bond will stay at 1,000. Make it easy. There's a lot of stuff there. All right. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Sylvester Ofori?
Mr. Ofori?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. All right, Mr. Ofori, you're hearing 2020 CF 10882. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant. Probable cause was found for first-degree murder with a firearm. And I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you. And this is a capital offense. Ms. Bush, did you wish to be heard as to bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would ask the court to take into consideration the affidavit to issue the warrant. That affidavit contains facts regarding video surveillance, which shows Mr. Ofori not only shoot his wife, but then stand over her body and put additional rounds into her head. That affidavit also contains facts from eyewitnesses that witnessed the shooting. The state would ask the court, based on those facts, to take all of those facts into consideration and hold Mr. Ofori at 0 bond after a finding of proof evident or presumption great.
All right, Mr. Matos?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, speaking to my client, we have decided that to waive the state's findings of presumption and holding a full Arthur hearing downtown.
Okay, well, you can still get your full Arthur hearing,
Yes, Your Honor.
even if I make that finding and hold him at no bond. It's just when you start making arguments
Understood, Your Honor.
about
Then
the
we'll
proof
leave it at the court's
evidence.
discretion at this time.
Okay, so I am gonna make a finding. I do find proof evident presumption great. You'll be entitled to an Arthur hearing downtown. You're not to have any contact with the victim's family or any witnesses in the case. And I'll have you sign that no contact order, Mr. Ofori. Do you understand everything on it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're also not to return back to the Navy Federal Credit Unit or Union at 4698 Gardens Park Boulevard, Suite 201. No alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription, no weapons or firearms or any ammunition. And once you have your hearing downtown, those may change, okay? But for now, no phone calls to any victim, family member, or any witnesses in the case. Anything else? Okay. right, tell me your name, please.
Cecily Pearson.
All right, Ms. Pearson, you're here in 2020 CF 10870AO. You're arrested for grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle and scheme to defraud or obtain property over $300. And there is probable cause for those offenses. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to return back to where the offense is alleged to have occurred. No contact with any victim or witness in the case.
Yes, ma'am.
Your bond will be set at $2,500 on count 1 and $150 on count 2.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank
All
you.
right, we'll reset.
Thank
within
you.
24 hours of release from the hospital.
Robert Smith is medical.
Okay. All right. You said medical?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna appoint the public defender for Mr. Smith and Mr. Matos. Did you want to waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so 2020 CF 10837AO. It's a warrant. Probable cause was found for burglary of a dwelling and petty theft. And then 2020 CF 10840AO. It's also burglary of a dwelling and grand theft third degree, and that's a warrant as well. PD's been appointed on both. In both cases, no contact with any victims or witnesses, no return back to where the offenses are alleged to have occurred. The bonds will stay at $5,250 and then $5,500. Tell me your name, please.
Shedrick Thomas.
All right, Mr. Thomas, you're here in 2020 CF 10871AO. You're arrested for possession of a firearm by convicted felon, carrying concealed firearm, resisting an officer without violence, providing false ID to law enforcement, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And there's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. No weapons, firearms, or ammunition, no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription, no contact with any witnesses in the case. The bond will stay at $4,000, $150, $100, $100, and $100. All right, tell me your name, please.
Robert Walker.
All right, Mr. Walker, you're here on 2019 CF 11573. This is a warrant. Probable cause was found for possession of MDMA. And I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Looks like the state did file an information charging you with possession of a controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. So what I'm gonna do here is order no drugs or alcohol without a valid prescription. I'm gonna strike the pretrial release. And you'll have random urinalysis through pretrial release.
Your Honor, are you on the possession of meth case?
Yeah, that's all I have.
They did an unarrest on him. So he's just in here on violation of probation.
I don't have a violation of probation.
Well, that's what's going to hold him in jail.
Are we talking about Mr. Walker?
Yes. Robert Lee Walker?
And
Okay.
information was filed and he was arrested on that.
Yeah, one moment. They did an arrest on him at 11:54 this morning. It stated from the officer, I guess they stated that it was the wrong defendant. So they did an arrest on him this morning.
You have that paperwork?
Yeah, I'll print it out for you.
Okay, I don't have a violation of probation. So I don't know what the VOP would be for if he's the wrong person. What- Like, how could they violate him if he's not the person that they arrested?
And the information was filed on this individual, same date of birth.
So is this not Robert Lee Walker Jr.?
And what I do see, Your Honor, on the first appearance information sheet is that they have it under a Robert Lee Walker without the junior, with a date of birth of 11/24/1982. And the arrest affidavit is Robert Lee Walker Jr., date of birth 9/23/1983, and the information was filed for Robert Lee Walker Jr. with a date of birth of 9/23/1983.
Okay, sir, what is your full name?
Robert Lee Walker. I
What is
was
your date of birth?
11/24 for 1982. I told them I don't.
Okay, no, we're just trying to figure it out, okay? Like, I certainly don't want you sitting here if it's not you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it appears to be, based on what he's saying, the wrong individual that they arrested, okay? So I don't know how he has a violation of probation.
He was already in on the VOP.
So
Yeah.
you've already been in jail? And they served you with the warrant while you were in jail?
Yes.
Okay, all right, okay. So they didn't just, okay. They just pick you up off the street and arrest you, okay, all right. All right, I get it now. Okay, so you're in on the violation of probation. I don't have a violation of probation in
He
front
went
of me.
yesterday.
Okay, okay. Did I see you yesterday? No? Okay, I don't know. All right, so I do have an affidavit from the officer that served the warrant. Officer or Sergeant Robert Spitak, and he's indicated that that he's providing the affidavit to unarrest you in this case because it's not you. Okay, so obviously they got to go arrest the right Robert Lee Walker Jr. Okay, so we're not going to do anything today. I'm sorry that you had to come and visit us, but I'm glad they figured that out. Okay, so we'll take no action on anything today on this case. All right?
Your Honor, is it possible for this? Let me just see if it's in the clerk system. I don't have the statement from the officer.
Oh, well, I can give you this one. I don't know if we really, I don't need it. I can give it to you.
Thank you. May I approach?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna have to figure out about the Robert Lee Walker Jr. and remove the fact that there was an arrest in the clerk system. I don't know how that works. So. That's not my department. So, court take no action for officer incorrect defendants. Can you just put like affidavit filed? By affidavit. All right, tell me your name.
Alson Altoro Jr.
All right, Mr. Altoro, you're here in 2016 CF 6665AO. You're arrested pursuant to a warrant for violation of probation. The judge did set your bond at none. Gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll see Judge Whitehead for an arraignment, and you do have reporting requirements, okay?
Okay.
Good
So,
luck, sir.
excuse me, no bond?
Yeah, you have no bond on the warrant, so your attorneys will be able to file any motions, but you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, tell me your name.
Edward Burton.
All right, Mr. Burton, you're here in 2018 CF 14969. It's an on-view violation of probation based on, and you have two of them, in 2018 CF 10996. And it's based on the new law offense of possession of cocaine on 9/4/2020. And so I do find there's probable cause for both of those. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You'll be held at no bond on each case, and you'll see Judge Whitehead in a couple days for your arraignment, okay? All right, tell me your name.
My name is Luis Sanchez.
Mr. Sanchez, you're here in 2018 CF 12962. You're arrested for a violation of probation on view. And there is probable cause for that offense based on my review of the affidavit. And I'll appoint the public defender's office to represent you in your case. You'll be held at no bond at this time. You'll see Judge Whitehead for an arraignment, and you do have reporting requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good luck, sir. All right, please tell me your name.
Alexander Mikhailenko.
Okay. And so this is a Seminole County warrant. It looks like they set your bond at none. And so I'm going to appoint the public defender here to represent you in your case. And I got an email from Corrections saying that I guess I had given you a bond on the on-view. So I can't, this is the problem, like I gave you a bond on the on-view, but your probation officer can still go to the judge in Seminole and ask for a warrant, okay? So it doesn't preclude them from doing that. And so it looks like that is what happened. So right now your bond is set at none pursuant to the warrant out of Seminole. So I've appointed the public defender here, okay? You're gonna have to, we're gonna reach out to Seminole County, one of the judges here, Judge Carter. So she'll hear back. We'll probably hear back in about a week or so, and we'll get you back on the docket. You can keep your mask on. The public defender's office can also reach out to Seminole County as well, or hear and file a motion to set bond for you. But I can't change their warrant in Seminole, okay? All right, tell me your name.
Timothy Orange.
All right, Mr. Orange, you're here on a Polk County warrant, and the judge did set your bond at 1,000 and 500. So if you're able to bond out, you can do so. I only have one case, correct? Yes. So I'm gonna appoint the public defender regardless to represent you. You can bond out. I'm gonna release the hold. I'm not taking any action on the pretrial diversion case. So that might have, if you were trying to bond out, that might have been what was holding you. So you could be able to bond, you should be able to bond out now if that was your intent, okay?
Okay.
But you have the public defender in case you're not able to.
Thank you.
All right, good luck, sir. All right, tell me your name.
Robert Price.
All right, Mr. Price, you're here on a Brevard County warrant, and the bonds, I believe, are set. I got a bond correction sheet. Is the bond 1,000 total? 'Cause it says no bond on the affidavit, but then there's a bond correction sheet. I've got two cases, 24915 it's one case.
I'm checking here.
But it's the bond, there's two counts, but the bond correction was 1,000, and then, but I don't know what that means for the second count.
I don't have to do, just leave me in jail, because I don't, Your Honor, I'm homeless.
I know, hold on, I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I'm not a Brevard County judge, okay? So you got arrested in Orange County and then they bring you to me because you have to be seen within 24 hours of your arrest.
I understand.
So I'm trying to figure out if you have a bond or you don't have a bond, but whatever it is, I can't change it, okay? And that's something I'm gonna appoint the public defender. We will reach out to Brevard, but
I'm gonna get clarification because I do see on the bond correction, it only has for one of the charges 1,000, but in IMS, both charges show 1,000 on each, so I'm gonna get clarification.
okay. So we'll get clarification, Mr. Price, and hopefully you have the bonds, but even if you do, I can't change them. So we would reach out to Brevard and see if they would modify that. But
Okay.
we'll recall you once we get clarification as to what your bond is, okay? Because I don't know what it is. I just see $1,000 and I can't really understand the teletype.
But until then, I'll be in jail. Detained or what? What are they gonna do? No, Your Honor, since since I can't bond out, you're not gonna OR me,
I can't
I
ROR,
understand.
I can't ROR you, okay.
I was here before for this, they picked me up, I knew, I get mail at Matthews Hope, I knew I had this. They brought me down here and they tell me got there and pay. Well, I went to pay, but I fell asleep waiting on the bus, right? I went out there to pay the fine, $485. You know, I went to pay.
I totally believe what you're telling me, but you have to understand, Mr. Price, I can't change anything that happened in Brevard, okay?
I understand that.
So we're gonna reach out to Brevard, but I need to get clarification first from corrections as to what your bond is. Okay, so that we can do the paperwork. So that the judge that's gonna communicate with the judge in Brevard knows what to tell them,
Okay.
okay? So we'll just have you step back. All right? All right, tell me your name.
Edwin Valley.
All right, Mr. Valle, you're here on a Polk County warrant, and the judge did set your bond at $1,000. And then you have an Osceola County warrant as well, and you have no bond on the Osceola County warrant. And then you have another Osceola County warrant that's set at no bond on all 4 counts. And so I'm gonna appoint the public defender in all 3 of the cases here for you. And we'll reach out to Polk and Osceola County and see about the bonds or modifying anything. And you should hear back and come back to court in about a week or so for a status hearing on that. But you have the public defender, so they can file any motions to set bond for you, okay? It just says blanket bond. I don't know what that means. I think it's just 1,000. I think it's just 1,000 because all it is a failure to appear for the driving while license suspended. There's no other charge. I think that they think there's 2 counts because it says, the second count says failure to appear for a traffic arraignment, which is not a charge. So I'm pretty sure, Mr. Price, I think your bond is just 1,000.
Yeah.
I understand that you can't bond out. I get it, and I feel ya, but I can't change that today. Okay, so as I told the other gentleman, we will reach out to Brevard County. Do you have a current address?
I mean, I get my mail.
Where are you getting your mail? Tell me where you get your mail.
Matthews Hope in Winter Garden.
What's the address there? You
I
don't
know it's on Story Road.
Matthews Hope, is that like a?
It's a,
like a coalition?
It's a homeless coalition.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't know the address.
Where and what city is it in?
Winter Garden, right down Colonial, past the quarry.
So it's in Winter Garden, Florida. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Story Road.
Story Road, and that's where you get your mail.
Yeah, I mean, I've been detained here, arrested once, and they OR'd me and told me to go out there and pay the ticket. I had the money. I was on my way. I fell asleep waiting on the bus. That's why we're going through this now. I've been down here twice for panhandling, and this never came up, and I kept asking. I got a ticket that I was supposed to pay in Cocoa Beach, and it never came up. Well, if it's not on the computer, no matter how truthful I am and what I'm telling you is true, if it's not on the computer, then you guys don't know.
All right, I'm writing some notes down for Judge Carter because she's going to reach out to the judge in Brevard. But Judge Jacobus is the judge out there, and he already agreed, like you said, to release you and have you go do what you needed to do. And then I understand you fell asleep, but I don't know. I put that all down there. We'll relay that to him, okay?
I mean,
But I can't. I know what you want me to do, but I can't do what you want me to do.
What is that? Let me stay here and sleep for a couple of days? You can do that.
Okay, well, that's what you're gonna do, but I can't release you, okay?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to die here. It's not a felony. It is what it is.
Well, Mr.
I would
Price,
rather go out there.
we might be able to resolve your case here too, okay? So we'll
That
see
would
what
work.
we can do. Okay, we'll see what we can do. We'll see you in a couple days, okay?
Thanks.
Huh? All right, anything else?
I think that's all for today.
We're done.